Today on Ask This Old House. We'll go to Chicago to see just how dangerous a home fire can be.
If you see this in your home, it's time to call 911.
There is almost nothing left to that, and this was a total of 7 minutes and all that damage happened.
And I'll show you a home generator that you'll never have to fill with gas.
Look what I found under this kitchen sink. Looks pretty bad, but it's more common than you'd think.
And it's a gray and orange rubber tool with a grip. What is it?
A spellfay on the flip phone.
Where do you buy those things?
You don't.
Not online. This was before the internet.
That's next on Ask This Old House. We are just north of Chicago in a fairly nondescript office park. But this 100-acre campus is the world headquarters to Underwriters Laboratories. Now, you may not recognize the name, but you probably know their seal. It's on thousands of categories of products, from electrical wires and devices to drywall to roof shingles. UL is an independent certifier dedicated to protecting life and property, and many local building inspectors require their seal on the products that are used to build your house. And today we've come here to learn about fire safety. John, it's good to see you again and to be working with you again.
Well, we're really happy to have you here at UL, Kevin. We're going to show you today some of the dangers of fire and how fast it can spread and how careful you have to be. Let's take a look at this first one. This apparatus is used to test roofing shingles to prevent the spread of fire. You know, a lot of the major fires in the United States started because a fire in one building spread to the next one through embers landing on the next roof. And that's how fires spread in many major cities, especially in the Great Boston Fire, the Great Chicago Fire. So you want to protect your house or your building from those embers, and the shingles are the first line of defense.
So right underneath the shingles, we've got a lot of wood. We've got the sheathing, we've got the rafters, and those can go up quickly.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's why we use this standardized piece of wood. We started burning on all 6 sides.
What's the wood you're using?
It's a Douglas fir. Once he has it lighted completely, he'll take that tongs and put it right up on the roofing section. To simulate outdoor conditions, because we're indoors right now, we have a 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing.
The 12-mile-an-hour wind makes a huge difference.
The 12-mile-an-hour wind is not only blowing the flame and exposing more of the roofing to the flame, but it's adding oxygen to the fire. So this fire is being accelerated by the wind, and any firefighter will tell you that when they see a wind like this, it means they're going to have a hard time fighting a fire.
So what constitutes a pass or a fail in this test?
This test is run for an hour and a half. And what we're looking at with our camera, which is mounted under the test apparatus, is to see if anything burns through the wood that the shingles are mounted on, which means that the fire could get into the attic of the building or the home that you live in.
So if it burns through the roof before an hour and a half, that's a fail? If it does not, it's a pass?
It is.
Any estimate on how hot that is right now?
Most flames can get easily up to 1,000 degrees. Even a simple candle flame can be 1,000 degrees. That's very, very hot, isn't it? And look at how many candles this would be. So hopefully your roofing shingles would never have to be exposed to this kind of extreme condition, but the fact is this is a very valid test for helping keeping people safe. Kevin, we're going to take a look at cooking fires here. Cooking fires are the leading cause of home fires in the United States, and in particular, unattended cooking.
Unattended?
Yes. You've got kids to take care of, you've got TV programs you want to watch, friends you want to visit with, and you can't sit in the kitchen. Take an oven mitt with you, and that'll remind you to get back into the kitchen every so often to see what's happening.
So if we do have a fire, I see the fire extinguisher here. Is this what we're grabbing?
Well, that's something that works very well on fires and something every home should have. But the fact is, putting a lid, or if you don't have a lid, a cookie sheet over that pan, it'll smother the fire and put the fire out very quickly. And that's what you want to do, is get rid of that fire as quickly as possible.
All right, you gonna light one up for us?
Absolutely. We have some cooking oil here. We're going to put it in the pan and simulate a grease fire. So the oil's been heating for 10 or 15 minutes, and it's pretty hot right now, so we're going to simulate a fire. We're going to ignite that oil. The reality is when food is cooking, it splatters around, and it might be hanging over the edge of the pan, and some of that oil could get down into the burner area.
All right, there it goes.
So this is a pan fire, of course, and the thing you want to do is not pick up that pan, but you do want to turn the stove off. The best thing you can do is find a cookie sheet.
So just cover it and deprive it of oxygen.
Exactly. That's the scientific approach to it, but it's very simple. The one thing to remember is don't try to pick up the pan and run outside with it. You're going to splash burning oil around and have more fires. Don't throw water on it because that could spread the fire around your kitchen. Your kitchen has curtains, bread wrappers, paper towels that could all catch on fire. Then you've got a bigger fire and you need to get out and call 911.
Good to know.
So Kevin, we've been looking at a lot of fires today, but the important thing to remember is that your family needs a working smoke alarm that you check monthly, and also an escape plan so everybody knows how to get out, where to meet, and things of that type. The fact is that 30 or 40 years ago, you had on average about 17 minutes to get out of your house when that smoke alarm sounded. Today that's down to 3 or 4 minutes.
Wow, that's short. Why the big difference?
The difference is we have open floor plans, which allows fire to move much faster through your home. We have different construction materials, and most importantly, we have a lot of synthetic materials in our homes. Look at this carpet. At one time, all the carpets were made out of cotton and wool and had real natural backing material. Today it's synthetic material. That's not really bad, but the same is true with your pillows and your furniture. It's all synthetic material rather than duck down or cotton.
So not bad, but it's going to burn a lot faster.
It will burn hotter and faster, and that's why you need that working smoke alarm.
I don't suppose we're going to light this up.
Oh, we absolutely are.
Oh, nice. So obviously a job for a professional, John, right?
Well, we've got our firefighter who's going to start a fire, and sometimes fires start from electrical problems, other times smoking materials. There are many reasons fires start, but the reality is once they get going, they burn hotter and faster than they did 30 or 40 years ago. And everything, including the blanket there, is made up of some synthetic material, and they do burn. This is something that if you see this in your home, you know what you have to do? You have to get out. This is something that is not controlled by you, not by your garden hose. Even if you have a fire extinguisher, it's time to get the family out, and it's time to call the professionals, call 911.
And you can see it drip. I mean, literally balls of flame dripping. That is the synthetic, almost like an oily fireball.
That's called flaming drip.
And at 10 feet away, I mean, this is intense heat that we're feeling right here.
It's terrible heat. Fortunately, this room is designed to have fires. The smoke is going up into a regenerative thermal oxidizer, which means it cleans up the smoke.
So we've got a well-ventilated room. We're not feeling the effects of the smoke. If this were a house, we'd be choking on this smoke.
If this were a house in an enclosed room, you would have trouble breathing. And that's called sustainability. Sustainability is when you cannot maintain life in the fire.
Wow, look at that. There is almost nothing left to that. And this was a total of 7 minutes and all that damage happened.
Look what happened. It's something that can repeat itself in any home, so be careful. Have a working smoke alarm.
Right. Well, good lessons and important lessons, John. I very much appreciate you sharing them with us.
It's our pleasure. Stay safe.
What got my attention is just how fast those pillows and chairs lit up compared to the cooking oil.
It's counterintuitive, right?
Right.
We actually took that cooking oil, we heated it for 10 minutes plus, and then you saw how long it took to ignite with a blowtorch.
That's right. Yeah.
Whereas you put the blowtorch to the pillows and boom, they went right up. And if you think about it, when something's made out of synthetics, well, synthetics are essentially petroleum, which is why they go up so quickly.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, look at the chairs and the table, solid wood. They were still in pretty good shape. They were smoldering, but pretty good shape.
The synthetic material is gone, the natural material is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just drives home the need for smoke detectors on every level, and make sure they're interconnected. So you have your power here, and then you have this third wire which is a signal to the other devices. So if something happens in the basement, it sets them all off. Now you can also do it battery powered. There's a wireless system here, sends a signal to the other devices. And if you can monitor it on your smartphone or by a central station, that's always the best. That way there it gives you a little bit of edge up.
If you've only got a couple of minutes to get out of the house, knowing if fire's coming or the fire's there is really important.
Absolutely. All right, guys, here we go. It has these soft rubber ridges right here. 2 pieces of hard plastic on each side. The giveaway are these fins right inside. They're soft and they're blue.
Yeah.
What is it?
What is it?
What is it? Let me try this. All right, so you guys know this, that I treat my body like a temple.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yep, yep. And
Temple falling down?
hey, there, big fella, come on now. And so everything natural, that's all allowed to go to my body. And these days, no carbs.
Yeah.
But there's one problem with that. The hot dogs without a bun,
Natural casing.
natural. See,
Natural
you know what I'm
casing.
talking about. How do you eat a hot dog without a bun? Because if you don't have a bun, where do you put all the chili and the cheese and the relish? Well, this is a bunless hot dog holder.
Final answer.
You just, and then
Yeah.
like that, and
Right,
everything is
right.
preserved.
Available online.
Everything is preserved.
Now, I see you guys on the job all the time with your fancy little cameras taking pictures, the spelfies. Selfies, that's what I said.
You're fancy.
Well, they
right?
don't have a spelfie stick for a flip phone, so I had to go
Wow.
out
What?
and
There's
find
accessories for that phone?
There's a reason they don't have it.
There. Ready? A spelfie on the flip phone.
Where do you buy those things?
You don't.
Not online. This was before the internet. This brings out some memories.
Yeah.
Bad ones.
Oh wow. No.
My mother.
Oh, God rest her soul.
Yeah. Yeah. If I lied
Yeah.
when I was a kid,
If
no, I had to wear this.
Oh.
Yeah.
look
Tell
at
the
that.
world I had been a little untruthful.
Your own scarlet letter.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Would you
yeah.
have that on for a couple of years?
He still
Yeah,
wears it.
my high school picture has that.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but you were actually the closest with your selfie.
Spelfie?
Yeah, selfie, whatever you call it. You know, have you ever used a paintbrush all day long? You take the paintbrush out and you hold it in your hand and you try to cut around the windows and the trim. And you know, and after
That's
a
just
while, your
awful.
hand really gets achy.
Yeah.
All right?
Achy.
So if you take this and you snap your paintbrush in here just like that.
Come on, really?
Oh, the ribs, yeah.
Yeah. Now you take it and you dip it in the paint.
It's a handle for your paintbrush.
Look at that, huh? All right, and now when I trim around all my trim and my casing, I can bring the brush in nice and tight. I can hold the brush all day long, and my hand doesn't get tired.
Wow.
It's good for old people, Tom.
Oh,
It's making me hungry, huh? Oh, sorry, Scott. You just missed the what is it by a couple of minutes, but I am intrigued. What is it?
Well, this is a portable generator with no gasoline at all.
Really? So what are we talking? Just a big battery system here?
Yeah, a big battery. That's what it is, on wheels.
Okay.
So what it works is on anything that plugs into it, you can run in your home.
All right. And so I see a plug coming out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Is that to connect to it?
That's the trickle charge.
Oh,
and then we
okay.
also have solar panels, which could go on a balcony or could go outside. They're about 30 watts each. It's a pretty good amount of power.
Okay, so the power goes out, and because there's no combustion, we can bring this thing inside. We don't have to worry about carbon monoxide, which is good. We're not going to die.
Nope.
Give me a sense of what I can run off of this and for how long.
It can live inside a closet or a room that you're not using, and it'll run most things in your home. Besides the big things like air conditioners, toasters, coffee makers, those are going to be real limited as to how long they can go for.
Can it run my refrigerator?
Yeah, you could run your refrigerator. It draws about 800 watts for the refrigerator, and this will run maybe 6 or 7 hours. Just depends on how often you open the door.
Okay.
So I see we got some AC outlets right here. Look at this, we got a little cigarette lighter, USBs.
Yeah, you can keep all your phones charged as much as you need to. So
Pretty clever. And then in
Yeah.
terms of price?
this is about $1,000, and these are about $300.
Whoa, time out here.
Yeah,
Hang on a
so
second.
$1,300 for the whole kit.
For that kind of money, you could buy a portable generator, which will go forever as long as you keep pouring gasoline into it.
Yep.
And you've even wired those into the house, so they can run things like well pumps and some heating.
Yeah, that's what they're
Why
good
would I
for.
buy this?
This has got limited use. This is good for multifamily applications where you don't want to upset your neighbor for the smell of gasoline burning, the noise, or if you're going up to different levels. You can't bring a generator up to your second or third floor apartment.
Okay, so you're going to bring this in, and it's going to be for that application.
Yeah, it's real good for that. And you can keep your office running at home for quite a while during a power outage. So,
All right, you know what? Not as funny as a
Yeah.
usual, what is it? But pretty informative.
yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, this is a great house.
Thank you. Yeah, we moved in about 2 years ago, so we're slowly making it our own.
Great. Big, beautiful kitchen. What's not to love about
Yeah,
this?
this is really what sold us on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know, we're always in the kitchen, kids at the counter doing homework. We've got our dogs.
Oh, he has his own little room.
Yes, he does.
All right, but you sent me a note about a leak on your kitchen.
Yep. So we noticed some water under our sink.
Oh yeah. The first indication was time to call a plumber as you see the bucket filled with water.
Yeah, and we were doing some digging and found some rust.
Oh yeah, so look up underneath the sink right here. You can see it's all rusted away. You can see water glistening right there. You know, and this is not that uncommon a problem. Let me run to the truck and I'll be right back with the parts we need. All right, Molly, this is the part you need. It's called a basket strainer.
Okay.
Now the part right here is stainless steel. You can see it here mounted into your sink, right?
Sure.
The water continues down through here and it connects to the regular drain line underneath. But all the parts below the sink, the parts that actually hold it to the sink, this bell and this nut, are actually not made out of stainless steel. It's made out of pot metal.
What's pot metal?
Could be anything. Pot metal is scrap metal. It's stuff on the manufacturing floor. The idea was you're trying to save money on the parts that don't need to be stainless steel. And technically, it shouldn't be an issue because these parts should never see water. So I think what might have happened is the initial installer might have left this a little too loose and water might have dripped down in between the sink and the strainer and gotten down and filled water into the bottom of that bowl.
Okay.
Now that water could sit there and just rust away that metal right there and the nut. So we just have to get this nut and the remaining piece off. We can replace it.
Sounds great.
All right, so we're going to start by loosening this top nut right here that holds the dishwasher tailpiece to the bottom of the strainer.
Okay.
And that's plastic, and that should loosen no problem. Okay. And this is a flange tailpiece that just butts up to the bottom right here. All right, so now I'm free to loosen this nut because there's nothing in the way.
Okay.
And let's see if it'll loosen. I may have to have it hold back. Oh, that's so rusted, so loose, it's easy. This, I think that really confirms the issue, that the original installer didn't tighten this up enough. And that's exactly why we have this leak.
Sure.
Look at this, completely rusted
Oh,
away.
wow.
There was nothing holding this. Look at.
Oh my goodness. This is peeling away.
So that's just loose. So. Okay. Okay, so that's just back off. So there's the nut. Now I'm just going to loosen this. Nope, not rolling right out. Okay. Look at this here. Look at.
Oh wow.
See it?
Yeah.
It's completely rusted. That whole bell is one piece now, so it's completely rusted tight. So I could actually remove this pipe and try to beat it up with a hammer. But I do know that that is pot metal. Remember I talked about it?
Yep, yep.
I could actually melt it with a torch because it has a relatively low melting point.
Really?
A little excitement, but
Yeah.
you ready for that?
Sounds
Let
good.
me run to the truck again. Let's add the heat.
Okay.
Not much to it. That'll do it. That should come out now. It's going to be hot as a pistol.
Oh, that did the trick.
No match for the torch. All right, here is your brand new basket strainer right here. We really have to make a really good watertight connection to the sink. So you can see there's a gasket right here, and that actually sits underneath the sink, and then we tighten up the nut, it'll compress that gasket.
Sure.
But that's not the most important connection. It's actually going to be made with plumber's putty right here. So just grab about 1/3 of that cup, work it into your hands, and I need you to shape it into a snake.
All right. Can do that.
You have daughters, so you've worked with Play-Doh before?
Oh yes,
clay?
many a times.
Just make it long enough to go right around here.
Okay, how's that look?
Let's try that. Okay, perfect.
All right.
Now, I'm going to push this down. What I want you to do, and I want you to sort of push against this when I go underneath, and I want you to take these 2 screwdrivers and hold back against me as I try to tighten up the nut, okay?
Okay.
Hold on, let me just come on right there. Okay, that should start to compress a little bit, see it?
Yep, it's coming out.
All right, now I'm going to go pliers, and now you should really see it. Just hold back against me.
Okay.
And I think this is what the last guy didn't do probably, is to hold back so you really get a nice tight connection there.
Sure.
They needed you, Molly.
Yeah, and the muscle.
Good. All right. Now we need to reconnect this thing called a dishwasher tailpiece. See, it's got a branch right here for the dishwasher. And there's a couple of really important gaskets to make sure it's watertight. Here's the two choices. You can see right here. This is the standard conical compression gasket. You can see it's right here.
Oh, yep.
This is the top gasket. It sits up here. And now this is designed to sit right against this flange and to butt to the bottom of the basket strainer. So let me just catch that nut. Okay, there's that. All right, and I'll snug that up with a wrench afterwards. Now here is the other critical gasket. This is a standard compression gasket. And as I bring this nut down, you can see why they call it compression. As I tighten it, it's going to compress this gasket tight against that tube. Okay. I'll snug them both up with a wrench, but don't over tighten them because these nuts are plastic. That should do it. Good. All right, just clean up the last of that old putty there.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, ready for a test? Best way to do it actually is to fill the sink.
All right.
So give it a whirl. All right, Molly, I think that should do it.
Okay.
Just pull the plug.
Okay. Will do.
Hey, look at that. No leak.
Oh, that's wonderful.
All right.
Great.
So you don't have to worry about that. If that one ever leaks, you now know how to do it.
Yeah, or I'll just call you.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Oh, it's just maddening. I mean, pot metal, right? It just
Yeah.
deteriorates in the presence of water.
Right.
Why would you use it underneath a sink?
Well, as I mentioned, there's no reason not to if it stays dry. This part, the inner part, is the critical one to be made out of stainless because water will touch this here and all the way down through.
This just sort of sits underneath
This
it.
bottom bell has no other function except to squeeze this gasket and the putty and make a watertight seal here. So now with this nut, you can tighten that right up. Beautiful.
So done right, that should never touch water, which
That's
is
right.
why you're comfortable going back to pot metal.
Absolutely. And then I can snug this up beautifully with a conventional set of pliers, make that nice and tight.
Okay.
They make all kinds of different choices now. So you might see this one in the home center. You see here's a large nut. And so you say, well, wait a minute, now how do I tighten that up? And even the larger size doesn't quite do it. So you can still tighten it up, but they also make a special wrench that'll really allow you to torque that thing right up tight.
The specialty tool.
That's right. And right here, this borrows from the connection you see on a disposer.
Oh yeah, right.
So
you
the
got
same
thumb
idea where you
screws.
tighten up thumb screws and squeeze in that gasket. The key is to make a watertight seal between the sink and the strainer.
The key is to have a plumber who knows what's going on underneath the sink. That helps. All right, good one, Richard. Thank you. So keep your letters and your emails coming. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Rich Trethewey.
For Ask This Old House. Next time on Ask This Old House.
This bookshelf is a great first-time woodworker's project, and we'll show you how to build it.
I want something new. I kind of want to rip everything out and start fresh.
That's what most homeowners think you need to do, but you don't really need to do that. The front of this house needs a lot of work, but I'll transform it by using what's here and adding some inexpensive plants.
It's truly amazing.
Ask This Old House has much more to show you. To see entire episodes anytime, just go to video.pbs.org and like us on Facebook. This Old House magazine, the companion to the television series, provides advice from our experts that you've come to know. You can use your credit card to order 10 monthly issues for $10. Just call 1-800-221-5900.